Welcome to the Mind Spark, bringing you the latest news from around the world. Breaking news tonight, and it's grim. Pakistan is staring into the abyss. Headlines scream crisis and desperation for over 230 million people. Endless lines for fuel, tempers flare, and protests erupt as citizens are pushed to their limits. This is a nuclear-armed nation on the brink. The world is watching. Can Pakistan pull back from the edge? Let's break it down. The numbers tell a terrifying story. Pakistan's rupee is in freefall. Savings and paychecks lose value daily. Imports, especially essentials like fuel and medicine, are now astronomically expensive. Foreign exchange reserves? Critically low, barely enough for a few weeks of imports. This is a full-blown currency crisis. Businesses can't plan, investors are spooked, and the economy's foundation is cracking. Inflation is a runaway train. Food prices have doubled or tripled. The basics, bread, lentils, cooking oil, are out of reach. Salaries aren't keeping pace, so people skip meals, pull kids from school, and delay medical care. Inflation is a silent thief pushing millions into poverty. The social fabric is fraying. Fuel shortages mean transportation grinds to a halt. People can't get to work, goods can't reach markets. Power outages cripple industries and make life unbearable. Hospitals struggle to keep equipment running. Small businesses are shutting down, unable to absorb rising costs. This is a humanitarian crisis in the making. How did it get this bad? Heavy reliance on imports, chronic trade deficits, and mountains of debt. Billions borrowed without clear plans for repayment or growth. Now the bill is due, and the nation's wallet is empty. The government is desperately searching for dollars just to keep the lights on. Options are dwindling fast. The crisis is real and the clock is ticking. Pakistan is running out of time. The next move is critical. What's left? When a country is on the ropes, one name comes up: the IMF. The International Monetary Fund. Think of it as the world's financial firefighter. The IMF steps in when a country can't pay for imports or service its debt. It provides big loans, but not charity. There are always strings attached. Pakistan and the IMF have a long, troubled history, over 20 bailout programs. Each time, promises of reform and stability are made, but the cycle repeats. Short-term relief, failed reforms, another crisis. Many Pakistanis are skeptical. Is the IMF a savior or part of the problem? The IMF's role is to provide money and push for reforms, reducing deficits, controlling inflation, improving governance. But these reforms mean pain, austerity, higher taxes, subsidy cuts. It's a political minefield for any government. Is the IMF Pakistan's only option? Many experts say yes. The IMF's seal of approval unlocks other funding and prevents a catastrophic default. The government is negotiating desperately, the clock is ticking, and the stakes are high. This is Pakistan's gamble for survival. Will the IMF deal be enough? Or is it just another turn in a never-ending cycle? The answer will shape Pakistan's future, and the world is watching. IMF money isn't free. It comes with strict conditions. Austerity means cutting spending, often hitting the poor hardest. The IMF aims to stabilize the economy, but the impact on ordinary people can be devastating. This isn't just about signing a deal, it's about sustained commitment to painful reforms. The stakes couldn't be higher. The world is watching. For years, Pakistan turned to China for help. Billions invested through the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. China provided emergency loans and support, giving Pakistan leverage beyond the IMF. But now, that lifeline is fraying. China remains a major creditor, but the days of easy bailouts are over. Why? China faces its own economic challenges and is more cautious about lending to heavily indebted countries. The blank check era is fading. This pullback leaves Pakistan with fewer options and less leverage in IMF negotiations. China hasn't abandoned Pakistan, but the economic dynamics have shifted. Beijing now urges Pakistan to stick with IMF reforms. The lesson relying too heavily on one partner is risky. Diversification takes time, but right now survival is the priority. China's caution means Pakistan must face the IMF with less cushioning. CPEC projects face delays, security concerns, and questions about their long-term value. The easy promises of the past are colliding with harsh realities. Pakistan must adapt to this new reality. The margin for error is gone. Let's bring this crisis down to the ground, to the homes of ordinary Pakistanis. The economic collapse isn't just about numbers, it's about human suffering. Feeding a family is a daily struggle as prices triple and essentials become luxuries. Medicine is unaffordable or unavailable. People sell their possessions just to eat. Fuel shortages cripple daily life. No transport, no school, no work. Farmers can't get produce to market, ambulances can't reach patients. Power cuts last for hours, sometimes days, in brutal heat. Businesses close, factories sit idle, productivity plummets, unemployment soars as companies lay off workers, millions of jobs are lost, young people face a future with no prospects. This isn't just economic loss, it's a social crisis, breeding hopelessness and unrest. The social contract is under strain, people feel abandoned by the state. Access to clean water and healthcare is a daily battle. Hospitals lack medicines, doctors are overwhelmed, the most vulnerable, children, the elderly, the sick, suffer the most. This is about more than poverty, it's about dignity denied. The stories from Pakistan are a stark reminder of the human cost of collapse, a population under siege, fighting for survival. The crisis is everywhere, no one is untouched, the pressure is mounting. How much more can people take? The world must not look away, the time for action is now, before hope is lost. Let's talk about security, a sensitive but crucial issue. Pakistan's tough neighborhood and internal threats mean a massive defense budget. Billions go to military spending, money that could be spent on education, healthcare, or infrastructure. It's the classic guns versus butter dilemma. High military expenditure drains finances, adds to debt, and fuels the fiscal deficit. Can Pakistan afford such a large military when its economy is on life support? The crisis is forcing a re-evaluation of national priorities. Economic instability and security are linked. A weak economy breeds unrest and extremism. Ongoing conflicts divert resources and deter investment. The cost of fighting insurgencies is immense, in money and lives. Sustainable peace and security require more than military strength. They need economic stability and social cohesion. Reducing tensions and investing in people is an economic imperative. True security is built on a strong, stable society. Without it, Pakistan risks being trapped between security demands and the cries of its people. Let's look at the debt monster. Pakistan is drowning in debt, domestic and foreign. Decades of borrowing to cover deficits and fund projects have led to crippling repayments. A huge chunk of government revenue goes just to service debt, leaving little for development or social services. It's a classic debt trap. Debt, inflation, and unemployment feed on each other. High debt payments mean less spending, so the government borrows or prints more money, fueling inflation. Inflation erodes purchasing power, businesses cut back, unemployment rises, and the economy shrinks. Breaking this cycle is incredibly difficult without drastic measures and external help. The burden falls on ordinary people. Higher taxes, reduced services, eroded savings. Much of the debt wasn't invested wisely. It didn't generate enough growth to make repayment sustainable. Now, Pakistan borrows more just to pay off old loans, a dangerous game. Breaking free requires more than another bailout. It needs fundamental reforms, better fiscal management, improved tax collection, boosting exports, and productive investment. Debt restructuring is also crucial. Without deep changes, Pakistan risks remaining stuck in this cycle for years. The time for half measures is over. Only bold action can break the spiral. After all this grim news, is there hope for Pakistan? Yes, but it won't be easy or quick. The first steps secure the IMF deal for immediate stability and breathing room, but the real work starts after. Painful, necessary reforms. Broaden the tax base, reform loss-making state enterprises, and invest in export-driven sectors like technology, agriculture, and manufacturing. Create a business-friendly environment, cut red tape, and ensure policy consistency. The urgency is undeniable. This time, reforms must stick. It's not just about economics, it's about people. Invest in education, healthcare, and vocational training. Empower women, unlocking huge economic potential. Community efforts matter. Local initiatives and civil society can build resilience from the ground up. International support is vital, not just for bailouts, but for trade, investment, and technical help. But ultimately, responsibility lies with Pakistan's leaders, institutions, and people. National unity and a shared vision are essential. The path is difficult, but with courage and the right choices, Pakistan can overcome this crisis. There is always hope. The world must not give up on Pakistan, nor should Pakistan give up on itself. The future is unwritten. It's time to choose a new direction. The stakes have never been higher. The world is watching, and so are generations yet to come. The journey will be hard, but hope remains, always. As Pakistan stands at a crossroads, the world is watching closely. The stakes go far beyond its borders. For neighbors like India, Afghanistan, and Iran, Pakistan's instability could mean rising security risks and refugee flows. For China, the crisis threatens its massive investments in the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, a core part of its Belt and Road Initiative. Western governments and international organizations are also on alert. Pakistan's economic collapse could disrupt global supply chains, especially in textiles and agriculture. A financial meltdown might spark panic in emerging markets, sending shockwaves through global stock exchanges. Diplomats scramble to coordinate responses. The IMF and World Bank push for tough reforms, while the United States and European Union debate the balance between security aid and economic support. Meanwhile, Gulf countries weigh their traditional financial lifelines against their own economic pressures. Humanitarian agencies prepare for a possible surge in needs: food, medicine, shelter, should the crisis deepen. Analysts warn that extremist groups could exploit the chaos, raising alarms in capitals worldwide. Yet there are also glimmers of cooperation. Multilateral talks intensify, with calls for debt restructuring and targeted investment. Regional forums explore joint infrastructure and energy projects, hoping to stabilize the entire neighborhood. Pakistan's crisis is a stark reminder. In an interconnected world, no nation's fate is truly isolated. What happens next in Pakistan will echo across continents, testing the world's resolve, compassion, and capacity to act together. As Pakistan grapples with economic turmoil, the spotlight shifts to its immediate neighborhood. Regional organizations and neighboring countries are no longer just observers. They're becoming active players in the search for solutions. The South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, or SAARC, once dormant, is now convening emergency summits. Its members debate joint relief funds and cross-border trade initiatives, seeking ways to ease the economic shockwaves rippling through the region. Meanwhile, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which includes China, Russia, and Central Asian states, proposes regional infrastructure projects and energy-sharing schemes, hoping to bolster stability not just in Pakistan but across all of South and Central Asia. India, despite historic tensions, quietly expands humanitarian aid and medical supplies. Afghanistan and Iran, facing their own economic pressures, open limited trade corridors, allowing essential goods to flow more freely. Turkey and the Gulf states offer technical expertise and investments in sectors like agriculture and renewable energy, aiming to foster long-term resilience. It's not just about money. These efforts are about building trust, breaking old cycles of rivalry, and forging new partnerships for a more stable future. Experts warn that progress is slow and fragile, threatened by political mistrust and security concerns. But for millions of ordinary Pakistanis, even small steps toward regional cooperation offer a glimmer of hope. A chance that, together, the neighborhood can help pull Pakistan back from the brink. In a world where crises cross borders, Pakistan's recovery may depend as much on its neighbors as on itself. The region's response could set a precedent for collaboration in times of shared peril and for what it means to truly stand together. When the IMF steps in, its billions come with strings attached, strict conditions designed to stabilize economies, but with consequences that ripple far beyond government ledgers. In Pakistan, these conditions have translated into sweeping austerity measures, fuel subsidies slashed, electricity prices hiked, and public sector spending squeezed. For policymakers, these are tough but necessary choices. But for ordinary Pakistanis, they mean something much more personal. Families now face skyrocketing utility bills, and the price of staples, flour, sugar, cooking oil, has surged beyond the reach of many. Urban neighborhoods experience rolling blackouts as power grids strain under new cost-saving regimes. In rural areas, cuts to development programs leave farmers without crucial support, deepening cycles of poverty. Public hospitals, already stretched thin, struggle to provide even basic care as budgets shrink. The social fabric is fraying. Protests erupt in city streets led by students, workers, and pensioners desperate to make their voices heard. Frustration grows as the gap between rich and poor widens, and trust in institutions erodes. Some families are forced to make heartbreaking choices, sending children to work instead of school, or skipping meals to make ends meet. While the IMF insists its reforms are a path to long-term stability, the immediate reality for millions is one of sacrifice and uncertainty. The challenge for Pakistan is not just to balance its books, but to ensure that the cost of recovery does not fall hardest on those with the least. As the nation tightens its belt, the true test will be whether it can hold together the threads of society and whether the promise of a better tomorrow can outweigh the pain of today. As Pakistan grapples with the harsh realities of IMF conditions and a fraying safety net from China, many ask, is there another way forward? Beyond the cycle of bailouts and borrowed billions, experts and citizens alike are calling for bold, homegrown solutions. Some advocate for deep domestic reforms, tackling tax evasion, broadening the tax base, and cutting corruption at every level of government. By investing in education, healthcare, and technology, Pakistan could empower its vast youth population, sparking innovation and entrepreneurship from within. Agricultural modernization is another path, offering rural communities the tools to boost productivity and break the cycle of poverty. Renewable energy projects could reduce dependence on costly imports, while public-private partnerships may unlock new jobs and industries. On the global stage, Pakistan is exploring fresh alliances, turning to regional blocs like ASEAN, the Gulf states, and even African markets for trade and investment. These new connections could diversify the economy and reduce reliance on traditional lenders. Ultimately, Pakistan's future may depend not just on outside help, but on the courage to rethink its own systems and seize new opportunities. The road ahead is uncertain, but with visionary leadership and collective resolve, a different destiny is possible. As the dust settles on Pakistan's latest crisis, one truth stands out: survival alone is not enough. The cycles of debt and dependency have exposed the urgent need for resilience, self-reliance, and courageous reform. Pakistan's journey, marked by hardship, endurance, and hope, offers powerful lessons for nations everywhere grappling with uncertainty. First, real change begins at home. Strengthening institutions, rooting out corruption, and investing in people are not just policy choices, they're the foundation for lasting prosperity. The stories of ordinary Pakistanis, from young entrepreneurs to determined farmers, reveal a wellspring of talent and tenacity waiting to be unleashed. Second, global partnerships matter, but dependency is a risk. Diversifying alliances, embracing regional cooperation, and building bridges beyond traditional power centers can create new opportunities and safety nets for the future. Finally, crises can be catalysts. Each setback has sparked new debates, new ideas, and a new generation determined to steer their country toward a brighter horizon. Pakistan stands at a crossroads, its future unwritten. The challenges are immense, but so too is the potential. With hard-won wisdom and a shared vision, Pakistan can chart a new course, not just for itself, but as a beacon for others seeking hope amidst adversity.